So hello and welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to Frankie's Fixes, where I endeavour to solve your design dilemmas. Now, if you have a space or room that you are struggling with and you'd like me to fix, then head to my homepage and fill out the form where it says Frankie's Fixes. Now today we're going to look at Sophia's master bedroom.
Hi Frankie, my name is Sophia and we'd love your help fixing our master bedroom. It's quite small and an unusual shape. As a result, we have no idea how to bring colour into the space, and we would really like to. We'd love it to feel cosy, calming and luxurious, a proper grown-up retreat within a busy family home. We're open to a full revamp, new carpet, new bed frame, though not compromising on the bed size, and I desperately need more drawer space. There's a chimney breast right in the middle, complicating things. And the room's fully wallpapered. We'd love to strip it back and start afresh. We can't wait to see what you'll do with the space. Thank you.
So as we can see from Sophia's video, her room is slightly an awkward shape and it really does need a little bit of TLC. So I think the best thing to start off with is the colour. Now I have gone with her mood board for Sulking Room Pink. Now she specified in her house that she's already got a lot of green and she didn't want green, but it's always good to bear in mind what colours you have in the house, especially when you have slightly small awkward rooms, because you want the whole house to flow. I've gone for a slightly darker colour to really embrace the shape of the room. If you have an awkward shaped room, sometimes when you go for a paler colour, it kind of accentuates the odd angles because she's got sort of sloping walls and then the built-in cupboards are all a bit awkward. Whereas if you go for a slightly darker colour, it just sort of tends to cocoon it. Now what I'm also going to suggest is that she colour drenches the room so that it blends into the wall, as well as blending in the cupboards and around the window, but just leaving that little patch on the ceiling in an off-white. As well as the colour, she's also said she's wanted to change the carpets. I've gone for a very nice, slightly knotty wool luxury carpet. It's not a massive room. I do think it's important when buying carpets to go for a better quality. Firstly, because it feels nicer underfoot, but secondly, because they're longer lasting. Then she said she'd like an ottoman bed and she wants a super king bed. I have gone for this beautiful brown ottoman velvet bed. It's got a lovely bed head and then a nice sort of lower base. Now, although she said she wanted more drawers, I think it'd be quite awkward to have a divan bed or an ottoman bed where you pull out the drawers just because of the lack of space. So this one opens up like that, which leaves plenty of storage for bedding and cushions and winter clothes, things that you're not going to have to access every day, but it gives you the extra storage without having to fiddle with the drawers. Then I've gone for these two very lovely chest of drawers bedside tables. Now she has got two very nice chest of drawers there, so she could keep them. But if she wanted a bit more symmetry and to make the room look a little bit more grown up and smarter, I would suggest having these matching ones. They've got 3 drawers each, so that's really good. And they will make a nice sort of frame around the bed. She has said she's rewired the room, but I'm not sure whether she's put wall light wiring. So what I've gone for are these LED wall lights, which means they're rechargeable, which I think are absolutely brilliant. Because often when you move into a house or you redo a house and you suddenly go, oh, we forgot to put the electrics in for a wall light. Whereas these, you can just fit them on the wall. Inside is a little battery pack. You charge it like you would do your phone or an iPad, and then you plug it back in and then you can turn them on and off. I suggest they just go slightly where the bed head kind of curves, slightly in those little nooks there. And then on the bedside table, I've got these really lovely rattan lamps, which are very pretty, very sophisticated. The colours I'm going for in here are slightly sort of browns and pink tonals, so quite grown up, but also if you do have children jumping in your bed in the morning, they're quite practical. It's not all white linen, which is going to get sort of, Cocoa Pops all over it. If you get Cocoa Pops on the brown chocolate bed, you'll never notice. And then on the windows, I've changed the window dressing. I found these really lovely, slightly 70s style rattan roller blinds, which are really nice and they go on really well with the bedside lamps. And then these lovely white pinch pleat linen curtains, which I'm so excited to have found them because they've got a frill across the bottom, which I think just adds that extra element of luxury and almost look like they've been handmade curtains, although they are ready made. And then on the bed, I've got 2 lovely cushions from Ocker. Now I'm bringing in a bit of the pink, and I'm also bringing a little bit of the green in the leaves from the rest of the house. So as I said before, you've got a little nod to the rest of the house. It's a different colour, but it means that when the door is open, the whole house sort of just flows really nicely. And then for a bit of glam, I've got these lovely Art Deco mirrors from Dunelm, which go either side above the bedside tables. Now, she said that she wanted somewhere to do her makeup. So she's got the bedside table with the mirror, with the light across, and they add this sort of nice sort of bit of mirrored, subtle glam. And then in the ceiling, I've put, again, quite Art Deco, this lovely alabaster overhead ceiling. It's not quite a pendant, it's more of a flush light, because I think that room's got quite a low ceiling. So you don't want something that is too dangly. And this again is a slight nod to the Art Deco. The alabaster brings in the pinky tones and the browns of the bedside tables and the chocolate brown bed and the sulking room pink, and the little bits of pink on the bed cushions. And also I've also added a nice velvet sausage cushion, as I like to call it, in front of the two floral cushions. And then finally, what I would say she should also do, it's a small room, so it's not going to be too expensive, but because small rooms, you often notice the things that jar more than you do in a big room, is to change the plug sockets and switches. Now, you know how I love to change plug sockets and switches. So I've put a nice little dimmer switch for the lighting, which is from Corsten Architectural, and she can change the sockets as well. There's probably not that many visible. I always suggest do all of them, but you can slightly cheat and just do the ones that are visible if you want to save money. And then what I've also done is I've changed the doorknobs on the cupboard doors to these really lovely, I don't even know how you describe them. They look a bit like a boat handle, but I used them before on my old kitchen cabinets, and they're also from Corsten, and you can either have them vertically or horizontally, and it's just a really lovely detail to have in your cupboards. And all these little bits of brass bring the whole room together, adds to the lovely warm brown, bronzy, pinky tones. And hopefully she will then find that she has a lovely grown-up sanctuary in an awkward bedroom, but still feels very glam and an escape from the rest of the world in a really nice way. So having done the mood board and the shopping list, the team have now created her new room reveal with the artificial intelligence, so she can envisage how it's going to look, and me having fixed her design dilemma. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this week's Frankie's Fix. And don't forget, if you have a room or a space that you would like fixing, then head over to the form on my homepage. And don't forget to subscribe. Here, or here, or